And one thing that I am, that was a fly. Ha! That was a fly over the eye. So if I black out all of a sudden, it's because a house fly has taken residence over the eye of the laptop. It's right there. He says, I lose it sometimes. Where'd it go? Okay. One thing that has been helping me so much and that I really want to stay very true to in our sessions is just to always begin by us grounding together. Because I don't know about you guys, but, you know, life just kind of turns into a whirlwind at times. And for me, just before getting on this session, Mike and Zarina and Sarah Lynn were taken off for goat yoga. So they're trying to get goats loaded, and Sarah Lynn's wanting me to, you know, help her with her clothes, and she's very specific about how to help her. So you don't just help her put her pants on. I mean, it's a very specific process. And oh, if there's a speck of water on the chair that she was going to sit in, we're not sitting in it. So there's like all, you know, she has a lot of parameters. So it's tricky. You can't just halfway help her. You've got to be fully present to help her.
Yeah.
So, which is fine, but yeah, so it's like, it's been kind of, for me, I've like gone from this frazzled state trying to figure out how to set up in here for you guys, because I'm always out there with magic. So anyway, so I need it, and I would imagine that somebody else probably does as well. So I'm going to pull up one of my favorites is this video. I'm going to do our share screen thing here and find this video of the this one. It's this one with little Helix, where he is underneath Omega. And I would just like to just invite you guys to join me, and let's just take a few minutes and just unify with Helix's beautiful grazing mode piece here. Feel the rhythm of Omega's tail as she switches softly back and forth. Think about that wild wisdom tool of rhythm that these Mustangs so naturally embody. And let's just harmonize with this for a few minutes. video, I would invite everyone to send our river of gratitude out to Felix from our open heart to his. And on that river of gratitude, I'd like to ask you to also send him compliments. Send to him your thoughts of what it is that you admire in him. Perhaps it's his embodiment of peace right now. Perhaps it's his youthful potential. Whatever you see that you are drawn to, I invite you to tell him. Share those words with him of what it is you see in him that you're attracted to. Feel those words ride on that river of gratitude that's going from your heart space all the way to his. Feel him open and receive those words. Now, just as we've done before, I want you to feel that river flow, take a turn, and then move back to flow back to us, flow back to you. So from his heart space to yours, you're now going to receive that river of gratitude. And I invite you to take it a step further, and I invite you to receive those same words that you sent to him. Receive those words back into your heart. I want you to take a moment to really do that, really open. This is something that we have a tendency to shut down within ourselves. Let's naturally allow our hearts to open and feel those same compliments that you sent Felix. Feel him send those same words back to you on this river of gratitude. This golden river that's flowing from his heart. Let's proceed. Okay. I don't know about you, but that receiving part is a little bit more challenging than the part when I'm sending it out. You know, it's a lot easier to see something we admire in someone else and compliment it than to, in turn, you know, receive a compliment back to ourselves. So, which is a little bit foreshadowing what the higher I am is about to me. So I would, anyone that has your journals, if you have them with you, or if not, just think back on what you wrote as you did this session that we had, the previous session. I want to spend some time reviewing that, and we're going to go through and kind of work on helping each of you come to a place of more awareness of what that session was all about and was meant to reveal to you. So I want to start with just a little bit of a review of really what you were to be looking for. So when we did the slideshow in last week's or 2 weeks ago when we did that video, we did that slideshow. You know, what I'm really looking for is for you to, you know, when I ask you to rate from 0 to 10 the images that you're the most drawn to, I'm not looking for what it is that you feel like reminds you of yourself necessarily, or what you feel like you relate to even. That's not what we're after. I'm just simply after the images that you just feel something inside of you is just drawn to that image, and you may not even know why. And it may be an image that is so opposite of how you feel about yourself, and that's entirely okay. Oftentimes that can be the most revealing. So as we're discussing this, I want you to keep that in mind, that we're not looking for something that is something that really resonates with you because you relate to it necessarily. We're just simply looking for what you're attracted to, what you're drawn to from somewhere within. So as you guys go back through your journal or your memories of looking through those images, and think about the ones that you were the most drawn to, and then the feelings that you wrote about them. Does anyone have a specific image that they'd like to bring up and share that was one that you were specifically really drawn to? And what I can do here is pull up. Y'all think about that for a second, and I'm going to pull up that slideshow here. Yeah, go ahead, Ducka.
Oh, well, that's what I was going to say. I'm having trouble remembering the specific images.
Yep, I think that's a great idea. Okay, so why don't I do that? Here it is. Yeah, good plan. Okay, so I'm going to do another share screen and gather. And why don't I just go back through it again so it's all fresh in everybody's mind. And, okay. And even for those of you that may not have had a chance to do this yet. So I'm going to figure out how to make it a slideshow again. View, I think it's under manage. There it is. All right, so I'm just going to go through the whole thing, and these images are going to go through fairly quickly, just like they did before, and let's just feel into them. And so the two things that we are looking for is, for one aspect is which ones are you drawn the most to, and then the second thing is what feelings are associated with those. So let's start with just which ones you're drawn the most to. All right. There we go. right. Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't, if someone would like to, if there's a top image that you have or a couple, why don't we kind of discuss that? And I'll go back to those images. Does someone have one or a few that they want to talk about?
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to share. So one of the top images is the one where you're riding and you're coming through a tunnel of light.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think you passed it.
I think I did. I think I need to go back to
If you go back a little more.
There you go. Yeah, y'all know this better than I do. Just want to open it. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, that one. I love, love, love that one.
So as you go ahead.
Yeah, just I picked the same one.
Yeah, the light. Okay. So as we look at this, for those of you that were really drawn to this, can you think about what emotions or feelings come up for you that this represents?
Yeah, for me, there's a total dissolving of the individual self.
Uh-huh.
I just feel like that picture just dissolves it all into the truth of light.
Mm-hmm.
Just a unification
Mm-hmm.
of form. It captures the illusion of form. It captures the reality of everything, every form being made of light, the humility of being a form. It's just the power of being in form. All of those things.
Oh, so I hear you saying both sides of the spectrum. So the formless,
yes.
But yet the form kind of coming out of the formless.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there's definitely an honoring of the form,
Mm-hmm.
having a power to it and a humility at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the form and the formless. It's all of it in that picture.
Uh-huh.
It's so awesome.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I see, synchronicity, a harmony in the form.
Synchronicity.
Versus stepping and this moment of, really truly sharing an experience.
Yeah. 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 So,
My name is Amy.
yeah, hello. So what I would invite you to do is for that, write down those feelings for you that came to you the most from that image. And I think for Sabina, I so hear the form coming from the formless, and then that unification, collaboration, perhaps, Sarah. So that's a wonderful example too of how the same image, though we can all relate to different perspectives, there's going to be a unique kind of vantage point for each individual as you see it. Daka, did you have one or a few that you were specifically drawn to?
Well, what I had was a little bit different than individual images I was specifically drawn to. I had repetitious feelings.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I found that I was drawn to the images with only horses and no humans.
Yes.
Much more.
Yes.
But especially so many of the images of them just in scenery with no human fencing, halters, or the numbers or anything like that. I just kept getting this repetition thing of freedom and safety.
Freedom and what was the second word you said?
Safety.
Safety. Yeah, safety within that freedom.
Yeah, like when the babies were laying down and just so comfortable.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And when the babies were playing, and I looked down, freedom, peace, freedom, wonder, safety, freedom.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay. So
Freedom is there so many times, it's crazy.
Freedom is there again and again and again. Yeah, that's okay. That speaks huge. And then would you say safety would be the second feeling kind of within?
I think so. I think that was the second most common, and peace, that kind of thing, but really safety.
Yeah. I think that's huge. Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as we go forward, so the other thing that I had asked you guys to do is to think about, and you can think about this right now as well, as you move through your week, and even just thinking back on experiences you've had, I want you to think of your life like a slideshow, just like this slideshow that you watched, because that's really what it is. I mean, it's time is totally not real, and it's like the way I kind of visualize it is we're this stationary object, in this timeless existence, and then we have this timeline that's actually moving in front of us. It's not like we're moving through time so much as we're here and time is passing in front of us. So the slideshows for me really helps that kind of make sense to my human brain, because it otherwise doesn't. So as if you can think about your path in life and think about your experiences, as you have certain experiences or people that kind of get your attention, because it would be a little overwhelming to try to look at every screenshot of your life all at one time, obviously. But I want you to think about certain things that may have happened to you, or people that you are acquainted with. This may not be people that you know well, or animals in your life. Okay, any of these that you find yourself drawn to. Okay, not necessarily someone that you really relate to or even get along with. You may be drawn to them and not like them. There may be something about them you dislike, and that can be really revealing as well. Specifically, if it's someone that you envy. Okay, that is a really big one. So don't dismiss the negative part of it. That's powerful as well. So think about that for just a little bit. Is there any person in your life? Is there any experience? Is there any horse, dog, anyone like that you feel just for some reason you're kind of intrigued by this individual and you're not really sure why? Does anybody have one they want to share on that?
For me, anytime somebody is comfortable in their own skin.
Oh, yes. I love that.
I am all through my life, I study them.
Yeah.
Really, are you really? You really are? And so, of course, animals are always comfortable in their own skin. So I love to be around them because I have through my whole life had dogs and cats. Horses are 7 years new to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah, and I think that's it's that authenticity thing, when we're connected with our authenticity, we are so confident in our own skin, and we do radiate from the inside out. And
yes, and it is quite beautiful to see how that's evolved now. But
yeah.
What a theme it's been, and it still comes up.
Yeah. I very much have my moments as well where it's just, you're just not feeling as totally there. And yeah.
Or a covering comes over.
A covering, very well said. Yeah. Yeah. You just feel that density show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody else have one that they would like to speak on?
I guess maybe that is one of the real attractions to horses in particular, but all animals, and because they are so authentic to who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I especially when I was working in different situations that you're having to go into, I feel like it's you put on the costume and go be whoever you're supposed to be at that moment. And, there's so many situations you're not allowed to be authentic, but with our animals, we are.
Yes.
So that's the mirror side of the attraction to them, that not only are they authentic, but they allow us to be authentic.
To be authentic, exactly. Yeah. When so many times in our realities, we feel like, especially with other humans, that we have to operate with some sort of a veil.
Right.
Yeah.
But they would prefer us to just show up who we are.
Exactly. Not only do they allow it, they prefer it, the animal. Exactly.
Yeah, they really prefer it, and they let us know when we're not being authentic.
Yes.
So
yes. Oh, that's so well said. Yeah, and I mean that's the whole secret to this, having a better relationship with our animals is
right.
They not only allow it, they prefer it, and they demand it even. Yeah. And some of them even more than others. And I think that's one of the reasons I find myself especially drawn to the more sensitive horses, that I've had. I mean, I love them all for all the different qualities. Silver is amazing because he's just such a rock. Like, I can be a basket case and I can sit on him and he will just totally take care of the deal, but when it comes to just being, magic, that wild I am of feeling, I mean, it just draws me in, and she's not going to ignore what's going on in here. Whereas, right. He's kind of, I mean, it's not, I know he feels it. It's not that he doesn't feel it, but he's, right. Just as interested in finding, something good to eat and play in. He's the one, his wild I am is very much of play. So he's kind of like, oh, whatever. But yeah, I'm drawn to those sensitive beings. And your cowboy, I know we have, that brief time that I was able to spend with him directly when we did that retreat together. Right. Oh, it was so clear what a sensitive, and I know you know this, but my goodness. Oh, so sensitive. And we did the ribbon energy stuff, and that type of stuff is so powerful with a sensitive entity like that. Yeah. And it was, I did that little kind of introduction to it in the round pen, and he was just so locked on to that. So I see that sensitivity even with you and the animals that have come into your life.
Yeah,
have a similarity there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I have a real span of sensitivity.
Yes.
the same as you were saying, but when you were talking about your really sensitive ones, I'm like, that's Cowboy. If anything is going on for me, Cowboy lets me know it.
He tells you. He tells you. And what a gift. I mean, that really is such a gift. At the same time, it can get us in trouble because so many times we don't feel like we have the time to really get through to what's authentic. We feel like we've got to just get up, show up, and get the job done. Yeah, and it's those times that, like with a horse like Magic, I would have gotten myself hurt. I mean, you don't just, I mean, I mean, he certainly, but there's so much that they have to share if we can take the time to move into that space and really be able to hear what it is that they're saying. I cannot help but feel like he is such a tremendous guide for you, and is still guiding.
This morning, he was just so amazing going out to the field, and our communication and connection was so perfect. Letting me, I let him, we walk out together and stop and turn and do things like that. But then there's a point we stop and I let him choose whichever field he wants to go to.
Yeah.
He's in the past a couple of times, if I was not present enough to do that with him, he'll let me know, like he'll grab the hood of my jacket with his mouth.
Yeah.
But, he's done it a couple of times where he's just a little too close to biting me. So really reel back at him and tell him that you cannot bite me. You need to tell me in another way.
Yeah.
One day he grabbed me with his mouth and my jacket was loose and I just took it off and swung it really fast at him and he was like, oh my God, okay. So today he just kind of lipped gently.
Yeah.
I did react to that because that's still a little too close to biting for me. I'd prefer he just nudge me. But he really tested it out as to, okay, will this work? So I said, okay, that's still not completely acceptable, but it's better. So you back up and then come over to me and then tell me what gait you want.
So tell me what happened then if we move past that aspect of it and move into, I think there's something powerful in the freedom of letting him choose and your desire to let him choose which pasture. So if we kind of take the biting part out for a second and just forward into that space, kind of what happened in that space?
Well, in that space, I think he really likes to have a little bit of, I don't know if power is the right word for it, but especially I think with horses, we spend so much time telling them what to do and how to be.
And then think about what we were just saying that in life, right? Okay, so I mean, this is the perception that you're feeling through him, and I'm hearing the same perception that you're feeling in life as well. Is you're this huge free spirit being told what to do, and you feel like you could just want to bite everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so a while
ago, I thought, I want to give him some decisions.
Yes.
And let him know that there are things he gets to choose.
Yes.
Because a lot of things he doesn't get to choose. And I think for a horse who's got as much power and sensitivity as he has, he needs to be given the respect of making some choices.
Exactly. Just like I see in your your spirit is so vast. I mean, anyone that was on the last live session we had and heard you tell your stories, I mean, we all felt it. I mean, it comes through the computer screen. So, I mean, I just see the same individual. Here's one that has horse clothes and one that has human clothes. So tell me, what I want to hear is when you were at that point where you let him choose the pasture, okay? And he made that choice. Start right there and tell me what that experience was. Don't read into it yet. Just tell me what actually happened.
He stops and he looks at the gate, or he'll take a few steps in the direction toward the gate, and then he'll look back at me
Mm.
to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I'm hearing him.
Yeah.
That's the gate. And I'll go, okay, is that where you want to go today? And then he'll look back at it again. And I'll go, okay, we'll go to that field today then.
Uh-huh.
You know, and then
And
we
then
walk over
Yeah, go
together.
ahead. And
Then
you
we
walk-
just walk over together to the gate. And I
Okay.
usually ask him to let me, you know, get the gate open and to pass through slowly, and instead of at the dead gallop that he used to pass through with
Yeah.
mud flying all over me. So
Yeah.
I ask for that respect, because I'm giving him the respect of choosing the field.
Yes. Yes.
And there have been times where he's, you know, grabbed a piece of clothing of mine or something when I've been a little bit in a different space and he wanted to choose and I wasn't letting him. And that was him reminding me
Mm-hmm.
that he wanted to choose.
Mm-hmm.
But I want him to remind me if I forget, but I don't want him to remind me with his teeth.
Yeah. Okay. So still, I want us to kind of just move that part out of the story right now. And so I want you to think about for yourself how it felt to you when you're standing there with him and he's looking at these different gates and you're allowing him to make this decision. You're keeping him safe because you're still keeping him in a safe, contained pasture. He's not gonna, one of the gates doesn't open into the highway. You know that
Right.
you've blanketed him with every option that he could choose is a safe option. And the reason that's the case is because you have gifted that to him. So you've empowered that. And so as you're in that story, I would like to know what it feels like to you as you actually experience him look at those gates and then look back to you, like checking in, do you see me, and then walk to that gate together. Can you tell me what it's like?
There's a connection that we have that's really, really strong at that moment, because I think he's feeling at least a flash of the freedom of having the choice.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
even though, like you're saying, it's into a contained area,
Yes.
he's being heard and he's getting to choose. So he's free to decide which of the three fields he wants to go to, really.
Yes. So freedom is it, but freedom of the decision.
Yes.
Freedom of your choices, of the decisions you make, not versus a situation where you're being told what to do constantly by, a boss, or the horse being told constantly what to do by the human. The freedom to make your decision, and then the trust that whatever decision you make is going to be okay. It's going to be safe. Because there is a higher entity. In this situation, you kind of are representing that by being the one that has chosen these three pastures. I see the pastures as being a representation of safety, because they are. All of his options are safe options, and you've created that for him. So what I would love to do is to help move into your awareness how we can take this concept of freedom to make decisions and the trust that whatever decision that you make, because you're the one making the cowboy's the one making the decision, you're not making the decision for him. Whatever decision you make is going to be a safe decision. Right. Because the only decisions presented to you, the only choices presented to you are going to be choices that are going to lead you home. All paths lead to home, So that's what we're guiding towards. And I would just want to point out, just for you to reflect on this. I don't think now is quite the time to go into this aspect deeper, but reflect on the word respect a little bit yourself. I would love for you. I just hear it come up and again and again, and I hear it when you are feeling the need to control him. And I understand what you're saying. It's from a need for your personal safety. Of course, you don't need to get bit or attacked by your horse. So I get it on the surface. but none of this is on the surface, right?
Right.
So I would just love for you to spend some time with that word and what that word means to you, not so much when you apply it to cowboy, but when you apply it to yourself. You know, when you apply it to someone perhaps saying to you, you need to be more respectful. You need to show this person more respect. Like, feel into that. Take some time to feel into that. And I'd like for us to kind of come back around to that.
Okay.
That word. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So this was, does anybody else have any story, any individual? I see a chat here. Okay. So, and you, all right. So, and you guys know you can always send a chat. So Miss Sarah has just sent one. Sarah, did you? Yeah, you sent it to everyone. So every one of you guys can go to the chat window and see this. Do you mind if I read it, Sarah? Is that okay? Since you sent it to everyone? Okay, so this is from Sarah. She says, this really resonates with me and my experience with my ultra-sensitive gelding cowhand. I've actually decided to let him take some time off because things were decidedly bumpy for us lately. I have decided to honor his need for more consistent work or none at all. Just one little session a week was just enough to bring both of our anxiety and excess energy to the surface. Before I took him out to the pasture, I asked him to share one groundwork session with me without bucking, head shaking, bolting, or any of his other nervous behaviors. It took a huge effort for me to stay present and imagine what that might look like. With this intention in mind, we were able to work quietly and fluidly, moving the energy through our bodies and minds with just an occasional head shake. I swallowed my pride, turned him out for the winter, put our training on hold until we can find our stride again next summer when I have the time he needs. So, yeah, Sarah, I feel like you're, go ahead. Yes.
Oh, it's just so hard for my ego to step back and say this isn't working. You know, I just want to find what's going to work for him, or, you know, just a little bit more. And you know, I just had to admit it wasn't working, and it's still hard for me.
It is. And what I think it's beautiful that you're willing to take a step back. I think that is such a gift to Cowhand and to yourself. And what I would love for you to do, and Ducka as well, while you're taking this time, you know, to take a step back, I would turn the table completely around. I would take yourself out of this mindset of, I'm the trainer and I need to train this horse and I need to figure out how to fix him. And I would let every single thing he does be something that you take and reflect on yourself. Everything that he has done, you know, and I know you've already shared, you know, some of the stuff about, you know, the energy within yourself, the electricity you can feel within yourself that you also feel within him. Think about the decisions that he makes and the things that you are asking him to do when he comes back with these bursts of, you know, no way, I'm not doing that. Think about what that looks like to you, and think about what situations you may have been in where someone is trying to box you in and tell you it's going to be this way. And how did that feel? Are there any situations for you that you can think of that were powerful, that you just felt like you were about to explode, or maybe, you know, you just could feel that electricity just about come out of you? Feel into those situations, yeah?
Yeah, I've certainly made my share of self-destructive choices just to show somebody that they weren't going to tell me what to do.
There you go. Yeah. So feel into those things and work on that through the winter, and then come back to your relationship with him from a place that you have received the guidance that he has to share with you, and then you can be in a place that you can then effectively guide him. Because I feel like with both situations, you've got very similar things coming up, very similar horses trying to express these things, and you're both being very brave and bold to take this step back, because a lot of humans would just grit in and say, oh no, you're not doing that, and would just dominate. And some horses will let you. Some horses will not, thankfully. So yeah, so take time to feel into that and really, really feel into what it is that he is showing you, because he is gifting you something huge. We're not going to be able to like pinpoint it right here and now. It's going to be a process, but he has gifted you something very huge, and you have taken the step to receive it by taking a step back and being open, right?
Well, thanks. It's hard, and you know, there's a lot of support for that in, you know, in cowboy culture, and where the horse is a tool, and you know, if he isn't gonna make a horse, you just gotta shoot him, you know. And the truth is that I am in a very tight spot financially, and it's hard to have an 8-year-old gelding. I have to have, you know, half an hour to think about whether or not I can get him warmed up to possibly use him on the ranch for, you know, I mean, it doesn't pencil from that point of view, and it's hard to justify it to myself and to other people sometimes, you know.
I could not empathize with you more. I have got so many standing in my field that if I was to look at it from that perspective, you know, it would make no sense for me to have these. I mean, Brave is the one I've spoken about the most. He's not the only one. I mean, Dance has a whole other story of his own. I mean, I could go on and on. So, but the thing that I found is through this work, they actually have so much more to offer than they could offer in a traditional role anyway. And it's helped me see that there is so much purpose in having them. And there is nothing more powerful than what he has to reveal to you about your own self. I mean, you know, what price could any of us put on that? And he is there to reveal it, and he's the one. I mean, he's the one. This has come up time and again. I cannot help but feel he is the one that you are to be seen through, to see yourself through. So yeah, don't run away from it. It's a lot easier to grit in and justify why we need to run away from it, because it's not easy at all.
I'm just bursting over here with the power of this. Oh my God. It's so powerful.
I love you, Sabina.
Are you taking that in?
I think the cowboy and cowhand are soulmates, so therefore you and I are, Sarah.
I'll go with that.
That powerful perspective, because when you shift.
Oh, Sabina, you're muted. There you go.
When you shift into when we shift into a limited perspective, and how limited can you get? Then look at him in terms of money. It is so painful. So don't cause yourself that pain, Sarah, please. You know, that perspective that Mary is holding open is so much more the truth. Okay, I'll shut up now.
And the reason I can even say that, Sarah, is because I feel it.
Yeah.
I've been there. Our biggest bill expense is hay to feed all. We have about 20 horses, and we don't have enough yet to have our pastures managed to the point that we can actually grow enough hay. I mean, we have to buy hay all winter, and it is, I mean, it's a huge expense, and that's always the first thing. It's like, okay, do we have enough money to get hay? Now we can see how much we're going to spend at the grocery store.
Right.
So I have one more thing to say.
Please.
And I've been through this too.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say that. So I'm not just spewing from no experience. Yeah. I have been through this with my beloved redhead mare, who I also questioned. I thought we had a deep soul bond, and I felt so betrayed by the immense reactivity that really threatened my life at times.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God I hung in there into a place of just being and allowing her to release her stored tension that is in her body. And oh my God, who she is now. we have a long way to go, but still, it's just so incredible. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to make sure we have a little time for is to talk about what I'd like for you guys to do for the next couple of weeks until we meet up again. And I would like for you to think about first the things that we've previously, we got off on a little bit of a beautiful tangent in what we were just talking about specifically, but thinking back to the slideshow and the slideshow of your life, and Ducka's example of when she explained how it felt. I think that was a really good example of something that she is drawn to, but doesn't necessarily always feel in her life. So that example being when you, Ducka, were there with Cowboy and he was making the decision about the gate freely. Not the biting part, not the you feeling the need to make sure he was being respectful part, but past that, beneath the layers of that, to the part where you and he were together and you were giving him the freedom to choose his gate, and together you experienced him choosing his gate and choosing his freedom, knowing that he was going to be safe with that choice. So I think that is a great example of a story, of an experience that shows, that actually creates that feeling in Ducka of really what it is that you're desiring, which I'm hearing is freedom to choose and safety in that decision. Safety in whatever that decision is, you're going to be safe. That's what I'm hearing come up for you. So what I would love for each of you to do is be thinking about, what is this for you? So it may be a story that helps create this emotion. It may be an individual. I'll tell you, for me, I have gone through phases of my life where consistently there would be a certain individual that I would feel envious of. And I wouldn't have a good reason. And I even would kind of not like him at the same time, to be honest. And I know it was because I was jealous of them. I mean, for lack of better words, I was just jealous. And at first I would get hung up on just the not liking them part. And to be totally honest, it's nothing I was proud of, but I would even kind of pick apart things that I didn't think that were so great about them, right? Because it always makes you feel better when somebody else is down a little bit below you, knock them down a little bit. And so I did all that, and it still didn't work, though. I still didn't feel good, and I certainly was not getting from the experience what I was meant to get. So, but what would happen is I'd go on through my life, and then all of a sudden, this person wouldn't bother me anymore, and I wouldn't really know why. But then it'd be somebody else, and I've tracked it back as I've looked at this, and it's very in line with the thing that it is that I'm needing to develop and cultivate within myself at the time. That thing was something that individual had really mastered. Now, there may be other aspects to that individual that I was not drawn to. And that's what made it easy to jump on the bandwagon of, well, they do this and I don't like that and that's not right, right? But that wasn't the point. The reason I was feeling this envy towards them was they had something that I didn't yet have, but I was on my way to create within myself. Right? It was being called to me, and that's why I saw it in them. So that's why then once I would be able to create it, once I had this thing that they had, the first situation was very, I guess, ego oriented. It was really just success. It was success at a horse competition. This person had basically done what it was I wanted to do. Well, when it finally showed up for me, all my emotions towards this person of negativity went away, including the envy. But I didn't even pick apart like their little things that I didn't like anymore. I didn't need to. But then this other person showed up for me, right? And then this person, all of a sudden I didn't like her either. And I was like, why do I not like this person all of a sudden? But I was feeling envious of her. And what it was she had really taken a very solid ownership of what was her kind of unique niche in the horse world. She had really, it was positive reinforcement for her, and she had done such a beautiful job with how she had embraced it, right? And I didn't even realize that that was the thing. It wasn't that I wanted to do that specific thing as my thing, but I knew I hadn't figured out what my piece was. And so I knew she had. And so here I was, trying to figure out, what I didn't like about her so that I could like knock down, this thing that really I wanted within myself. Okay. Well, then the niche kind of showed up for me, and now I don't even think about her anymore. So then it was like on to this other person. And like, finally I caught up, finally I caught up with myself and realized what was happening. And because this person I really, really like I don't want to not like this person. I love this person. I think she's awesome. I don't want to pick her apart. I don't do this anymore. And I figured out it's because she has so mastered the business side of how she handles her niche in the world and whatnot. So, and that's something that I'm really developing and focusing on. So, but now I have control over it. So that is meant to show you how there may be individuals that you really don't like, and you're so stuck on not liking them that you may not be able to see that there's something they have that's trying to show up in you. And that's why you're drawn to them. So as you're going through your life and you're looking at this slideshow move across you, I want you to just be open to all people, all animals, all experiences. And those that that just really are powerful to you in whatever way, don't ignore those. Pay attention to those and feel into those and see if there's something there that perhaps you're seeking, something that you actually would like to have in that person, and feel into that. So what I would like for everyone to come to a place of is to recognize the feeling that it is that you want to have, like we discussed with Dukkha. Now, everyone's going to be at different stages with this, and you cannot rush this process. So you may be at a stage where you're not really sure what that feeling is yet, or it may have shown up for you. For Dukkha's situation, if you feel like it's shown up for you, so I'm going to speak to Dukkha's situation right now. So let's talk about the example of feeling the choice of the freedom to make a choice and knowing that that choice is going to be safe. So from that place, what I would love for you to do, Dukkha, is as you're going through the next couple weeks, I want you to be open to when that happens for you, okay? What situations in your life that you live, now I'm not talking about somebody else now, we've moved on from that, we're talking about Dukkha. So in your life that you live, that you experience, what situations, what experiences cause you to feel that feeling? And it likely in the beginning, when you have not really felt immersed in that feeling in every aspect of your life, many times it is so slight at first, and so slight that we don't even see it. So that's why you've got to really be looking for it. You've got to be seeking it. It's seeking you already, but you've got to be seeking it just as strongly in order to actually see it when it shows up. And when you see it, I want you to really recognize, give it credit. Like Mike was saying about his mechanic fairies, he promised that if they would help, he would not discredit that help. He would not discredit it. So give credit where credit's due. I feel like that experience with your cowboy was one right there. That was just this morning. So Go ahead and give that one credit. That was not just cowboy feeling that way. You felt that way. You felt that freedom of choice and safety through his freedom of choice and safety. So every time that happens for you, Dukkha, I would love for you to write it down. So
okay.
I'll do another journal template, but I haven't yet. I'll do that for you guys, but just write it down. I really, even those of you that have not been journaling anything else, please journal this. Write down every time you have an experience show up in your life, especially the little tiny ones that you really aren't sure if it even counted. Write down what happened and put in a little parentheses that feeling that you're going after. For some of you, maybe not everybody's going to have like one feeling that rises to the top. Maybe you've got a few different feelings that you would like to cultivate. Go with those 3. It doesn't have to be just one that you're looking for. Don't box yourself in or feel like, well, I can't do this part until I've totally figured out what my feeling is. I think all of us could pick a feeling that we desire. Go with that and look for stories that create that feeling and write those stories down. Sabina, were you going to add something?
I think you just answered it.
Okay.
It was just, does jealousy have to be the cue?
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay, because yearning or longing,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, and I just gave that example because that's a personal example to me. And I do want people to recognize that these emotions can be clouded by things that we might think are negative and run away from.
Yes.
Yearning.
No, that's
oh
super helpful. The example you gave is super helpful. I'm just noticing that sometimes it doesn't express as jealousy exactly.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes it does, but yeah. Okay.
Yes. When you're a higher being
No, it's not.
You get past that point.
No, what I mean is because every day there will be some longing. And that's what I would tune into. Every day there may not be some jealousy. Yes.
I think longing could not be a better word because that is that deepest part of you longing for yourself. I mean, so totally, yes. What you long to experience, what you ache for, what you yearn to feel.
Like the hungriness, and even like, we go to fill it with things too.
Yes.
So before I go to fill it with a nice bowl of ice cream,
Yes.
To look at what is it that I'm hungry for.
What is it that you're hungry for?
That actually could be my cue, when I'm reaching for those toxins.
There you go. Yes. That's beautiful. Yes. What is it that you are hungry for? And look for it. Look for it in your life because it is there. It is already there, and it is trying so hard to become more there. And the way that we empower it is to say, hey, I see you. There you are, right?
Right.
We're friends. Don't go away. And it's amazing how that acknowledgement of something so small, just like I think you could see that experience that I keep going back to with Dukkha as maybe this tiny little snippet. I see it as this portal. I see it as a wormhole of this that you can just jump into head first. And on the other side, there's nothing but that. I mean, that's what I'm feeling. I mean, that just makes me like tingle. That's what I feel when I hear that story. And I think about that slice of time of that story, that you take that slide out and here's your slide to look at is just that, not what came before, not what came after, just that slide is it.
You know what? That's what that picture in the beginning looks like. That picture of you coming through that portal.
The portal, yes. Yes, with the herd, my core herd that's started all of this for me. I mean, Yeah. So
all right. Thank you. Good.
Okay. Yes. So those are our things to work on for the next couple weeks. And I'm going to message everybody about our next live session. I was thinking I figured Thanksgiving weekend was probably just not a good weekend for folks. So the following weekend is, I believe December 1st is a Friday, and then December 2nd is a Saturday. I thought I could only do the Friday, but it turns out, I'm not going anywhere. So I was like thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking we were going to go to this family thing that's 3 hours away, and there's going to be all these people, and these are people that don't understand that I don't hand babies around for other people to touch and hold. I just don't do that. So it's like, we don't want to go there. literally or figuratively. We love them dearly. We'll see them another time. So I will be here Saturday. So I could do Friday or Saturday, and I'll ask the others as well. But those that want to make sure they are part of the live, I would love to do my best to make it work for everybody. And I don't, so think about that and let me know if Friday's better, if Saturday's better for you guys. And either the December 1st or December 2nd we'll go with.
Okay.
So.
What time of day are you thinking if it's Friday?
Well, so for me, for my time, it gets dark so fast here. I mean, I know it does everywhere, but so because I'm ahead of most of you guys, I mean, like anytime after 5 it's dark, 5 Eastern. So it would kind of need to be just sometime that it's light, because I would like to be out in the field, again, to be able to have magic with us. But I'm open to times that work for y'all. The 11 o'clock is Eastern is good for me on my end, but we could also do it more like 3 or 4. Do you have or is there a certain time that's just out for you, Sarah? Or
no, I'll have kids around, and it's a little distracting. But
I got you. Well, anyone that would like to tell me your ideal times and dates, I mean, please do. I mean, I know it's crazy for me to think that I can do something that works for every single person, but there's certain ones that have, are planning already on watching the replay, and there's certain ones that are definitely planning on live. So those that are planning on live, I think we can make it as convenient for you guys as we can. So, all right. Well, I am so grateful for each of you guys, so grateful for you sharing your stories. And I mean, Ducka, that just was a beautiful example that I feel like can help others as well when they watch this replay and see how, it can just be this tiny moment, and it can be clouded. If we were to go back, 1 minute from that experience, it might have been the part where you were feeling like you needed to, keep yourself from getting bit and respect my space and stuff. And so we can get hung up on that aspect of things. But if that's the whole point of what we're getting at here is look for the slivers of time and those little portals, those little wormholes. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And if we just recognize them, I mean, they have magical powers. They can just open up huge and let us in, and they're not tiny like we think they are. So looking for those, but first know what you're looking for. And that's the previous work, is know what you're looking for, know what you're drawn to, know what you're aching to feel, as Sabina says. And perhaps it's clouded with envy, with like my situation was in the past, and perhaps not, but just be looking for however it shows up for you. Because it is bound and determined to show up for you.
And one thing, Mary.
Yes.
The beauty of us being like a group here, I feel so much love for each one's process.
Me too.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one, because I feel it from each of you.
Yeah.
And it's like, what a powerful thing, because we can all hold space for each other.
Yeah.
And how that brings power to our own journey, as well. So I just wanted to say that I'm holding space for these processes that were revealed today. And I feel everyone's holding as well.
Yes. And the horses, the Mustang. Yes. And your horses, those of you that have personal, so many in this workshop do have personal horses, and those that do not, I would imagine everyone has some type of companion animal that they're drawn to. And I mean, cats and dogs, I mean, they're all speaking to us. And those that we're really close to, I mean, it's for a reason. Those that we have difficulties with, it's for a reason.
Yes.
So, feel into that, into their teachings. And I think I'd like to just end on this thought, because this is something I wanted to bring up at the beginning and I forgot. When we opened with that session with Helix and feeling into him, I really would love it, absolutely love it, if each one of you would practice that same concept of select one of your companion animals, be it, and I would highly recommend, Ducka, that you go to cowboy and Sarah to cowhand, but go right to the source. But and Lydia certainly with her sparrow. But those that are going to be watching the replay, whoever it is, and if it's not a horse that is actually right there and around your home, don't feel like you can't do this. It can be it can be a cat, a bird, it can be sitting out with nature. So this doesn't exclude anyone, but there's so many of you that do have personal horses. I would love for you to observe them. This is not something you can set up. Okay, I couldn't have told Helix to go lay down and take a nap under Omega and while she was swishing her tail like that. So just observe. And when they choose to move into a state of grazing mode peace on their own, I would love for you to simply share in that space with them. Not invade that space, and it may be different depending on the individual horse. It may be if you move too deeply in that bubble too soon, you may, even if this horse typically loves to be close to you, if they're in a place of deep grazing mode, it might kind of push them out of it. So be really respectful of your energy bodies, and you may not physically get that close to them. That's your choice. But just simply be aware that, oh, okay, here's my opportunity. And take the opportunity to be with them and practice just what we did with Helix. Really feel into, align with what it is that they are doing and what it is they are experiencing and offering to you. And it may help to keep your eyes open and observe, and watch as little rhythmical things show up. Watch their breathing, watch the rib cage move in and out. Whatever it is that you see that has a rhythm that you can harmonize with, it may be you want to close your eyes and just feel into that same harmony. But do this with your personal. You have guides all around you. So feel into that with them, and let's add that to the practice for until we meet again. Let's add that in, that space.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So on that note, I'll do what I'm never good at doing, which is saying goodbye. Once we're in deep, I just want to stay. But I will talk to you guys very soon, and thank you so much for being a part of this with me.
Congratulations. Thank you for bringing her.
Yes. She says thank you too.
Oh my God.
I think you got a smile.
I think so too.
You did that time.
Yes, I did.
So sleepy. All right, ladies. I will talk to you very soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.